All right, we're live, man. Welcome everyone to the show. It is just me running solo. Dave, he texted me and said he's not going to be able to make it here tonight. So it's going to look a little different. It's not going to sound any different because everyone knows I do all the talking with this whole thing. What's going on, Sean? What's up, Angel? Angel's on here. Sean. We got a couple people on here. Michael Fay. What's going on, Michael? Tyler's in eating tacos. Scott McDonald, Greg Boggs, David, Chris Kosman, Rich Morris, Rick Manzi. Man, the whole family's here. So we're going to get right into this whole thing. That's kind of like I said here when I first got started. It's going to look a little different. Dave can't be on here. He might pop in here a little bit later if possible. But everyone knows it's not really going to sound any different because, well, if you know the inside joke with that. What's up, Fred? Rolf, Ron? We're just going to bring this whole thing in here real quick. So, real quick, we got to always shout out Boost Your Barbecue here. Chris Kosman, use the discount code QChat for 10% off your order. I got to start stocking up on that Arcasibi combo here because I'm running low. Jim Hudgens steak seasoning. This weekend, did an SCA double up in Terry Hill. Got about 15th and 16th, so can't really complain about that whole thing. But let me tell you what, my taste scores were on point, probably because of the Jim Hudgens steak seasoning. It's kind of right in the middle of the screen here, and it kind of looks a little weird. So use the Jim Hudgens steak seasoning right there. That's good stuff. We're really happy with it and how it's been going for us. And we got to give a shout out to the Beast ladies, Barbecue Beast. Thank you for everything that you do for us. And we're getting ready to pull some special plans here that had to be postponed last year. And always got to shout out the Barbecue Beast ladies. So we're going to bring this back in here. And we got a special person on here tonight. Someone who everyone on here knows and loves. That's, proud to call a friend, proud to call a family member of the SCA family and barbecue family. You know him, you love him. Give it out for Mr. Raz Braz. How's it going, man?
What's up, my brother? How are you?
I'm doing well, man. Sorry about last week. We had a little bit of unscheduling, and now my co-host can't make it here tonight. But we got you on here. We're gonna get you taken care of, and thanks for coming on here.
No problem. I missed you guys at Terry Hill this weekend, so it looks like you guys had some really nice weather. So
yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a nice place, very nice place, and as always, I don't know what that area is up there, but they judge so high. I mean, 10th place, 249 point something. I'm like, geez, you Pete, like we're done.
I think it's the cooks, man. It's the East Coast Steak Mob competition. It's quality and the caliber. So,
for sure,
good stuff.
But yeah, man. Well, talk to me, Raz. How did you get into cooking barbecue, man? We always like to go back and ask people how they got into the whole cooking scene. And I went back and stalked through your Facebook and found a bunch of stuff. And man, you've been at this for a little while here.
I'm an old timer, man. So, so I always loved to grill. I mean, who doesn't like to grill? Right? So I spent years and years grilling. Did a lot of cooking when I was younger. Actually, in my early 20s, I managed. You remember Sizzler Steakhouse? You old enough to know what Sizzler Steakhouse is?
I know what a Sizzler is. Yeah, I'm not that young.
So I think it was 2021. I actually managed the back of the house of a Sizzler for about a couple of years. So I was actually doing the grill and the line. And you'd figure that after 2 years, I know how to cook a steak. But I guess you forget after a few years. So I did a lot of grilling, and probably about 12, 13 years ago, my brother, God bless him, knew that I'd like to do a lot of grilling. And for Christmas, he bought me a 22-inch WSM. So I got my first Weber. So I was happening. Good stuff. So I got my first Weber. And sure enough, I didn't even know what the stall was. I had a couple couples come over, and I didn't know there was such a thing as pork butt jerky, but I discovered it. It was probably the worst two pork butts you've seen in your life. I mean, it was intolerable, man. It's like you couldn't chew it, and they ate it. They said they liked it, but good stuff. The next night, my church pastor calls me up and goes, "Hey, brother," he goes, "I heard you got a smoker." I said, "Yep." He goes, "Guess what?" I said, "I want you to do a church potluck fellowship for the church in about 2 weeks." I said, how many people as I can. Well, about 75 to 100, I went great. So I went from doing shoe leather pork butts to having about 100 people waiting for me. And Google existed back then. I think I spent 2 weeks straight just Googling everything about pork butts. And that's where I started taking a lot of notes. So my second smoke was, I think, probably like 6 or 7 pork butts for about 100 people. And I discovered the stall. I'm freaking out. I got everybody waiting at 6 o'clock, and I made it. So
Wow.
from that point on, the rest was history. I fell in love with barbecue. You met my my buddy Andrew, right? So that you know, shout out to Andrew if he's out there. He got the 7th place in Lancaster. So my brother finally got a walk on his first cook. That was awesome. So we started doing church fundraisers from that point on, about 2-3 times a year. We would, and it grew. We would do church fundraisers for our missions groups, and it started off with like 6 to 8 butts, and then I got a drum, and then Andrew got his 22-inch Weber. Then he got an 18-inch Weber, which we call Little Liar, because that thing there was right on the temperature. And we used a church smoker, and we got up to the point where 2-3 times a year we're cooking about 55 butts.
Wow.
And putting it out there on 5 smokers. Maintaining 5 smokers was not the easiest thing, but it was a fun challenge. Good stuff.
Church picnics and church barbecues, I've realized, bring out the best and the worst of everyone, and especially the barbecue guys. Because Tyler just put it in the comment. Tyler Blue and my teammate, we cooked 300 pounds of bacon, and it took us 48 hours to do for Father's Day. For a Father's Day event at our church, we started like 6 a.m. Saturday morning, and they have church Saturday night. We'd have church Sunday morning. We cooked barbecue. It wasn't 48 hours, probably 36 hours straight cooking barbecue or cooking bacon. We'd put all these strips out there. It was the most awful thing in the world I've ever done. But
how much fun did you have, though, right?
The first 24 hours was okay. It was the last 12 where I'm questioning everything. I mean, now it's already fun to talk about it and tell everyone about it, because I don't know anyone's ever smoked 300 pounds of bacon at one time. And we weren't the smartest, because looking back on it, we could have probably done it all in like the pound, like in the things. No, we took each an individual piece and set it across there. We set my house smoke alarm off at 2 o'clock in the morning, trying to fix it hot and fast in the oven. It was not a good time. So thanks, Tyler, for bringing that one up. But I just had to say, church.
So what'd you learn?
Churches. I'm never volunteering for a Father's Day event ever again.
So we just so that was kind of a fun thing. I mean, we still do it. So we're going to do it in the spring. So it's still near to my heart. I still love doing the church fundraisers and just smoking as much now. Thankfully, I've got a monster 84-inch Lang, and Andrew's got one too. So we can probably, I think, pop like 65 to 70 butts with just 2 smokers now, which is fun.
Absolutely.
So years went by, and I wanted to learn how to do competition barbecue. And I looked across the country, and everyone was booked. And I found a local guy, and that was John Atkins for Pigs on the Run. And he was on the oldest barbecue team in the state of Virginia. So I went to Fluvanna, which was about 30 minutes away from here. And Teresa Bell, Big Dog Barbecue, was in that class with me. So we learned how to do competition barbecue at the same class about 9 years ago.
Wow.
Which is good stuff. And I think she was a judge back then. That was her first time. So she went on to some greatness. And I guess during the whole class, I wasn't behaving because I'm kind of social. So I would like leave the class and talk to the guys back there and give them some sticks, and we'd fire up the smoker. And then John looked at me and said, "Hey, what are you doing next weekend?" So I joined him that next weekend at Chesapeake tournament.
Wow.
And we stayed together for about 8 years. So basically I was one of John's guys. First year I was kind of like just, I won't say the words of what my titles were, but I had official titles the first year and the second title. Okay. It's a clean show, right? There you go. John Guts is on there. So we had a blast. So we spent 8 years together, just barbecuing with the team. John Guts, who's on there, was on there. We had different people show up, and summer of 2019, after about 16 years, John just decided to kind of just hang it up. He had enough. He did a great ride. He sold his restaurant, and his catering business he let go of, and basically he's retiring right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of just at that point I was kind of lost. It's like, what do I do for fun? So Andrew and I formed a barbecue team, Hog and All, and we are officially on uncharted territory. We got a great logo. I got a great banner. We've never done a barbecue competition, but man, if I do my first barbecue comp, I got it right. So then I transitioned to SCA after that. So so that was the barbecue venture. I'll tell you, John Atkins was a dear guy, still is a dear guy, and just a great mentor. And you could say that, you need good coaches and good mentors just to keep you motivated, to teach you the game, and to learn the process.
Absolutely. So how did you find SCA, man? That's how I've had the pleasure of meeting you. That's how a lot of our family is connected and all on here. I mean, I think literally almost every comment is someone we see just about every single weekend on here. How'd you find the SCA?
Okay. So, like everybody else, I went on Facebook, and I guess the SCA group existed. I found it. And is Angel Todd on?
She is, yep.
Okay, so Angel Todd, love you, by the way. Had just won her gold ticket, and I didn't have a PK. I had a monster. I still have a monster 26-inch Weber, and I really didn't know if I could do a competition with Weber or not.
Yep.
I learned I probably shouldn't do competition with 26 Webers because it takes too much charcoal.
Right.
So I talked to Angel. Actually convinced me. So she was my mentor to get into the SCA, and I was kind of hesitant, and I got into it. So I did my first competition in November of 2019 at Edgewater, which you were at.
Yep.
You actually did a video. I went back and I saw a video of the same comp, and I think you and I basically did just as well in that comp. I won't advertise our placement, so you weren't happy, and I was still stupid and happy,
Yeah, I wasn't happy. That was also back when I Worcestershire and soy sauce a steak for 30 minutes, hit it with white lightning and 3 eyes. That was my combo. I had no idea. I could not do that again if I tried. It wasn't even written down. What I did was not even written down. I'm like, oh man. But
your hopes, I mean, you were so hopeful you're going to get something out of that tournament.
I'm still so hopeful that I get everything out of the tournament, and then I drive home 2.5 hours, and I'm like, all right, next time what we're going to do is we're going to do this, and then it's just the whole thing over and over again.
So we all lick our wounds, right? But then just being there with the families is the fun thing. So
it is.
And I look back, and I was so stupid, but I learned so much when you go back to it. So Huntley was there. So Huntley was like a big celebrity to us, right? Like Huntley comes over from Iowa. He was there, and the Jersey boys were there. Going back, I talked to Ron Templeman and Norma were there. The Garretts were there. I hadn't met the Garretts yet, but the Garretts are right next to him. Never got a chance to talk to them. Scotty was just starting to take off. That might have been a second one or third one. So I talked to Scotty.
Everyone was still pretty new at that time. It was really cool.
Yeah, it was a good event, right? So, and I enjoyed it like crazy, and didn't do super great. I had a great flavor score, so I was happy about that. Good appearance, but we won't talk about the other scores, but there were lessons learned, and but I enjoyed it. It was just the fellowship was incredible, and it's even better than barbecue for me because everybody talks.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm pulling up right now. I'll never forget this. I came back. That was a Saturday and Sunday comp because we did Kensington and Edgewater day 2, and then both singles. But I'll never forget Kensington the day before. We got our timelines off, and we had our steaks. Me, Dave, and Tyler all had our steaks done 30 minutes before turn-in time. We were looking around wondering why no one else had their grill even lit yet, and we were done. So I had to hold a steak for 30 minutes when that happened. And then I came back the next day and had a massive sinus infection. So, I remember that weekend. Like, it was, I remember that.
But it was Rodney's
first cook.
That was Rodney's first cook?
Rodney's first cook and Scott McDonald's first ever cook.
Wow. Okay, Scott. Yeah. So I don't know if Scott even remembers me, but, he had his little – I remember Scott had his little grill, and I'd never seen anything that small before. And we kind of talked about it. So I don't know if it was one of the little M grills or not.
I don't know.
But
I don't
yeah,
know if M grills were coming around at that time, because at that time I was competing on a 22 Weber kettle or 18 Weber kettle with one single grill grate, because I bought the wrong set and I wanted to buy a PK so daggone bad, but I finished like third to last or second to last, and I'm like, I'm not buying a PK. Like, this is dumb. Like, I'm done for a while.
yeah. I learned one chimney at a 26-inch Weber's not going to make it for the practice on the turn in. So
Yeah.
I got that second chimney done in time, and I made the turn in time. So, but it was a great learning.
It was.
And then Angel pinged me and she goes, "You better not be a one and done. You better come back." So and she pestered me because she's a pest sometimes. And and nothing happened, and COVID hit, right?
Yep.
So my second comp wasn't until Spring Grove, which was like 8 months later in July.
Yep. Yeah.
Were
That was a
you
first
there?
for everyone. I didn't do the SCA, I did the KCBS there, and that was the last one I did under Harshman Barbecue at that one too.
So Spring Grove was good. And I can tell my Garrett story on this one because now I finally now I got to meet the Garretts. So showed up at and Garrett's, I love you guys too, by the way. Showed up at Spring Grove, and the parking wasn't super easy. So we got there, and I remember Pauline and my neighbor brother that I love also was already cooking some practice steaks before the turn-in or before the cooks meeting. And here's Rodney with his orange canopy, and Rodney just got the hand-me-down golden ticket from Rolf, right? So he was stoked, and I will blame it on the picture. That was probably a really bad angle, terrible picture. So I approached Rodney and I said, "You're Rodney, right?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Congratulations on your golden ticket, brother." I said, "It must be kind of cool to have your dad have that down to you." And he looks at me and he goes, "Brother," he goes, "Dude," he goes, "that's my brother." I went, "Oh shoot." I couldn't read. I mean, I'm trying to impress Ronnie, just like I know the guy, and hear him calling Rolf the legend his dad. And he goes, "Just wait till I." He goes, "Wait till I tell him." I said, "You cannot do that to me. You're really gonna throw me under the bus? Like, we're just friends now, and you're gonna do that?" He goes, "Well, I'm telling him." So I get situated, and about 15, 20 minutes later, here comes Rolf with Robin, backs up the truck. And I think Rodney ran to the damn truck. And I'm looking like, dude, don't do that. Do not do this. And sure enough, the second Rolf gets out there, he's pointing, he goes, "Dad." He goes, "Hey, it's my pops."
Oh,
so I kind of hit in the corner from that point on, but it was all good. So that's where I broke the ice in a weird way with the Garretts. But Rolf, I love you, man. It's all good.
Yeah, that definitely was a different way of doing it, wasn't it?
Not the way you ought to do it by calling Rolf somebody's dad, but he's kind of he is our dad anyway, right? He's the dad of the East Coast.
He really is. He really is. I hung out with him quite a bit this weekend. I sat beside him at awards, and I was down all the way down towards the end. I was beside Jeff Campbell, and I had to sit across in a way and look at Scott and his new trailer the entire time. I'm like, I'm not going to do this. So I walked down there and I'd hang out with Rolf and with Robin and the Haynes and the Boggs and the Manzies. But no, Rolf is definitely like a father to us all.
He is.
Raz, you do something here that I absolutely love. You are like the king of taking pictures of these events, man. Like, and I love it. What makes you just want to store the memories like this? You know, you take pictures of everything and everyone and post them to Facebook, and like, I absolutely love it because I get to relive the weekend throughout the week as the pictures come and all. Like, what brought this on?
Well, again, you know what? To me, I did photography. I took photography in college, and to me, it's about capturing the moments. And what I absolutely love now is I know you guys, right? I know you. I know the Garretts. I know the Haynes. I know Manzi. I know Paulini. I mean, I know the guys. So I'm always looking to capture the good moments. So, and I just think it's kind of cool just to kind of do a recap of just everybody together and what the event kind of was, not just the old standby picture, everybody being behind the banners and stuff like that, or showing their steaks.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it's really, I want to put a recap out there of just kind of the experience that people can look at and enjoy and look back and see.
Yeah, yeah, because
So,
it's really cool, man. I mean, I'm gonna go ahead here real quick and share my screen here. I mean, you can see right here we're starting. This right here is that right there is Smoking the Grove. So I mean, you
okay.
take growing up there, right there's
Don't be embarrassing me
Rolf's
too
son
much, but go
Rodney.
ahead. There you go.
But I mean, you got pictures of just all the events, and I absolutely love it. I mean, some backyard grill in there and a lot of steak practice and all because of last year, but I mean, they are awesome to get to see, and I absolutely love it.
Good.
So, but now you talk about all these, Colin Rolf or Rolf Rodney's dad and all, and all your Edgewater and stuff like that. But now, I mean, you're one of the guys to be fearful of. I mean, you got with Team B Extreme this year. How did that all work?
It's working great. Actually, the World Championship was an incredible event, and to me, it was just about soaking it in, right? And just to meet all these guys, to finally get to meet Terry Rohn and Danny Helms and Will Collier and Ron and John and Shanna and the Moody's. It was just, to me, just soaking it in was just great to meet the folks that you just communicate with and chat all the time on Facebook. Because I mean, it's I'd say the SCA group talks a lot. We all congratulate each other. We're together, right? So it was really good stuff. And so you know what? I'll maybe it's part of the Raz Dog that did it. So the Raz Dogs made it to the World Championship. And
we'll get to the Raz Dogs there with
okay,
a second.
So I had some left, and Amy and Jerry Buckins are really close friends, and the setup was everybody with a trailer was like about 2 miles away. So I went trucking back there to get Amy and Jerry a Raz Dog, and Jody and Lori and were there also competing right next to them. And so I got hot dogs. I had a couple hot dogs left over. And Terry was there. Terry was sitting down, just sitting down. And so I gave Terry a hot dog, and Jody comes over and Terry goes, Raz here made this amazing bologna bacon spam sandwich in Georgia. It was to die for. And I looked at Terry and I said, Terry, have you ever had bacon spam? He looks at me serious, Mr. Ice. He goes, we don't do spam in Texas. I said, brother, you need to. Bacon spam is a game changer. So we talked about bacon spam. And that was it. So the Raz Dogs kind of end of the line, and it was a great event, great experience at the World Championship. And about 2 weeks later, Terry pinged me and invited me to join the B Extreme team.
That's awesome, man.
Which was awesome. And
they got a great representative for that for sure.
It's a good team, and I love the spice.
Absolutely. So how did you talk about how the Raz Dog started? Did that start as an auxiliary and just became, something, or is it just something you wanted to do?
No, it was a mistake. So my buddy Andrew's on here, and true, it was Andrew's second cook. So I rotate, somebody to come help me until I got my truck all situated with actually a cover, because I had to bring stuff back and forth. So Andrew showed up, and Andrew bought a dozen hot dogs just for us to eat. He goes, dude, we're going to get hungry during steak A and steak B. So he bought a dozen hot dogs and some buns, and truly it was just for us just to have some hot dogs. So I cooked the 12 hot dogs, and it came down to Angel and Jerry Buckin that got me convinced that Raz Dogs are worth it. So I looked at Andrew. I said, we got to share these things. Got some fun people here. We're hungry. They're probably hungry. So if you remember Lancaster, where Manzi was situated, that's where Angel was. That was my lucky spot. So I went to Angel, and I gave her a hot dog, and she looked like, oh my God, this is like changing my life. I'm so hungry. I never eat. So that desperation look in her face that she wanted that hot dog and she needed it was awesome. Just because we never eat. I mean, we get there at 7:30 in the morning, 8 o'clock, we go till 5 o'clock, just busting. and we lose steam, right?
Mhm.
So then I'm walking back, and then Jerry Buchan is tying his steak and putting pins in it. And I said, "Hey, do you want a hot dog?" He looks at me like, "What are you, crazy? I mean, like, dude, you should be like doing your steak or something right now. What are you doing?" And he goes, "Yeah, actually, I would like a hot dog." He goes, "Let Amy get it real quick." So I gave him one. And then I went to the Garrett's and to the Pendry's, and I got rid of my hot dogs. And I came back to Andrew, and I had one hot dog left. And I said, "Brother," I said, "I'm sorry, but we need to split a hot dog. So we need to have a hot dog that we could actually have."
Aw.
So I did my buddy wrong, but you know what? It started something good. And Andrew, awesome that you did it. Kudos. And then from that point on, it became, and that was my first comp that I got a double walk. So I got a 6th and the 4th place in that competition. So
Wow.
it became, so, you know, I got a 6 even after doing the Raz Dog.
Wow.
So it kind of became my lucky mojo. And also what I love about it, it gives me a chance to come to you guys that are running on empty to give you a kind of second breath, right? I mean, you've been shaking. You told me once
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
So it's a quick hello, quick hug. See you guys. Get the mustard while I'm running. I got a quick timeline. I got to get back. And
Lancaster 2 weeks ago was, I have a timeline. Take a hot dog. I'm like, okay, Raz, take a hot dog.
But poor Andrew, he's got the mustard and the ketchup, and he was even waiting for the hot dog. I think he put mustard and ketchup on everybody's thumbs, so they got to lick the ketchup and mustard. But we ate the hot dog, so we made it. So
Take a hot dog. I got a timeline. Let's get the whole way down the line. You want a hot dog? I have a timeline.
But the hot dog to me it's not about the hot dog. It's about the people. I mean, it's really it's to give us a little break because I understand that we need it. It's my chance to hug on you guys, say hello real quick, and then just get back to my business.
Yeah, it definitely is it's an amazing thing, man. And we definitely appreciate it a lot because it wasn't the same this weekend without a Raz Dog. Now, granted, I did have some glorious wings from Boggs and from Scott and from the guys down from us. They were amazing wings this weekend, but nothing hits like a Raz Dog, man. And like that's hilarious that it all started. Now, do you get to eat a hot Raz Dog now? Like, do you eat before or after you send them off?
You know, it's funny because when I cook, I'm not really that hungry sometimes. Sometimes I won't even eat it. I've got one there, but it's for you guys. You know, it's I got to force myself to do it. Now you're going to miss. We talked before. You're missing West Newton, and you may want to make that show.
Just we don't need to make those things live right now, but we'll definitely work on it. Go ahead and tell them if you want. Tell them what you're going to do at West Newton there.
So the Raz Dog will graduate to the Razability Dog. You guys know Bill Atkins, who's a master barbecue, incredible cook. And back in Catawissa, were you at the Catawissa comp when we just all froze our buns off?
Yep.
Bill actually had a Raz Dog, loved it, and he goes, "Man, I make chili." He goes, "Would you mind if I make chili?" It's like, "No, bring it. Let's make this thing bigger." I mean, you got Paulini that yeah, that's right. Julie got the mustard on the thumb. You got Paulini making cheesecake, so it's part of the thing. So Bill Atkins is going to make his famous chili. We're going to have cheese and onions, the Raz Dogs. So the Raz Dogs are going to graduate to the Razabilities for West Newton. And if you make it there, I'll save you one. So it's graduating. Right. It's progressing.
All right. I'm gonna have to have a little bit of talk with someone after this just to make sure we're all good. But I mean, no, that's awesome.
Kansas City Royal, a hot dog. I mean, get your party straight.
Well, is this the triple or the double that it's going to be at?
This is the double.
Yeah, I can probably make the double. It's the triple one where the KCBS one.
Okay.
We'll have to see there on that. But yeah, Jim Hudgens said he can't wait for West Newton. He said, "Watch out, he's coming back."
Is he good? Good.
Yep. I think a lot of those guys need to come up here, and I want to go down south, man. Like we talk about Lancaster and all these places up here, they're scoring so stinking high. You know, it's insane. It's a lot of strong competitors up here. I think I got to go back down south where there's like a little bit of a better ballpark. I'm not saying those guys aren't any good. I probably score like 130 down there instead of 250 up here. But
well, I mean, it's kind of, you know, it's a good situation if you look at it. I mean, the East Coast Steak Mob is crazy, ridiculous good. I mean, you got the Garretts, you got Manzi that's on fire, you got Boggs on fire, you got the Haynes dynasty. I don't know what they're doing, but they're unstoppable. You got
Raz.
You got the Jersey boys. You got Newell. You got Ed. You and Dave are getting there. Ardino.
I mean, Ardino.
Scotty Mack and Lindsay. Oh my goodness, Lindsay. What's she doing?
Lindsay's just a show in and of herself. She goes down south and dominates. She's terrifying.
Right. So, but the good thing is we're learning. So we're playing in the big leagues with some big guys and big gals, and you know what? It forces you up your game, and we're getting better at it. So
it does. I mean, I'm sitting here wondering how to get texture better and how to make a little bit more pop on my seasoning, and that's all I've thought about here for the past 3 days. But no, it's.
So I'd rather raise my game and level up to it than basically go somewhere else to where I think it's going to be easier. If there's even as easier, I mean, there's great talent across the entire country.
Yeah,
you know, it's just the East Coast Steak Mob is it's good stuff, man. We got some hot players and love them all. It's good. We're learning from it.
We really do. We really do. So Raz, when do you think you'll get break out the KCBS team and all with that? Is that something you're thinking maybe next year or so, or are you going to be stakes or?
So we talked. So Andrew and I talked, and you know that that Paulini's my close neighbor buddy, right? So I always set up with Paulini, and Paulini was doing some KCBS. We may do a competition and bring Paulini in there.
He's another one I need to have on the show.
Yeah, you need to get Paulini in the cheesecake zone.
I know.
Right.
And what did he just win a gold ticket with? Scrabble King. That's what he is now. He's the Scrabble King. What's Scrabble?
A gold ticket on Scrabble is classic, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, so we talked about doing a KCBS piece, but I got to tell you what I'm loving about the SCA, and we talk about it every single time, is just that first of all, you can't beat the people.
No.
You know, we all share. We don't compete against each other. We compete with each other.
Yep.
You know, truly, I might lick my wounds if I don't like my results, but I'm always happy and proud of who gets the golden ticket. I mean, we're all there together, and we share everything. I'm already sharing what the Garretts and the Buckins have taught me, and you share upwards and downwards, and it's all about just that fellowship is incredible, and it's one day, or it's maybe a Friday night and a Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And KCBS, as you know, and I know you love it, it's a lot of, it's money, it's time, it's effort, it's travel, it's 2 days, and it's this is easy.
The best way I hear it described is the guys on the Pitmasters podcast. I forget who says it's either Rusty or Anthony. They compare it to boxing and MMA. You know, KCBS is like a boxing match. You go in there, you're going 10 rounds, and you're swinging hard, and that's what it's going to be for 2 days, and that's what it is.
Yeah.
Versus MMA, where you just come in there and you're like that, and you're done for the day, and the dust settles, and you're there. What even happened? And it's over. A double's over in 3 hours. I mean, we're there all day, but it's 2-3 hours and it's done.
And it's not easy. I mean, it's like, I say it's a marathon or 100-yard dash, right?
Mm-hmm.
But with SCA, I mean, you're not cooking, 4 proteins, you're cooking one thing.
Yep.
But the finesse is so precise.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of luck involved, but if you mess up one little thing,
mm-hmm.
you're out. Especially with our groups that we compete with. I mean, we miss one little part of texture or doneness or a grill line. You're hitting 20-25, and you're out of even being anything but the middle of the pack.
Right. Well, when 10th place starts like in the high 240s, low 250s, you're talking tenths of a point on everything. Like you got to be on it.
Yep.
And it's tight. It's very tight.
But it's fun. I mean, it's a fun pressure.
It is for sure.
So hopefully I get another walk this year. I'm going to keep working at it, but you know what? I never, even if I was it the West Virginia was really licking my wounds on that one. That was rough.
Shenandoah Junction.
Oh my goodness, yeah. It was a hard comp, and
mm-hmm.
and Manny nailed it. Rodney did great at it, and but even the ones where you lick your wounds, you have such a great time that you always come back for more.
The wounds taste good.
What's that?
The wounds taste good.
Yeah, they are good. Put a little mustard on there. It's great stuff,
A
man.
little bit, yeah, yeah. Like I don't mind these wounds. Like they taste good.
It's all good. So that's really to me the attraction of the SCA is just it's we work hard all week long, and the last thing I really want to do on my free time, travel 4 or 5, 6 hours, is to feel that pressure, not have fun, not make it worthwhile. That's not what I want to do on my free time.
Right.
Right. I
You
want to go
wanna
have fun and cook steaks.
absolutely. Now, Raz, you do the Raz dog, but and that's kind of your own ancillary. But do you do any ancillary competitions with the SCA?
You know what I did in Spring Grove. I did the sausage, and I sucked at it. It was a bad one. And then in Catawissa, Nathan, my son, came, and we got a fourth in grilled cheese.
Okay.
So it wasn't bad. And I know the ancillary is on a lot this year. And I'm still to the point where I want to just hyper focus on just nailing down my my steaks and my hot dogs. I got that hot dog thing right, but I will probably I am entering the bacon because the bacon is just too attractive not to enter.
Okay.
Everybody's saying when we have one with a hot dog ancillary, they're going to shoot me if I don't enter that one. So I may do the hot dog one. I may select a few of them, but to me, and my goal is to actually bring my son with me and actually have him getting into the ancillary.
Okay.
Kind of like grow that piece out there. That way he's got kind of a purpose besides just kind of help me out.
Yeah.
And
that's awesome.
I think Andrew now is kind of hooked after getting his 7th place walk that Andrew's going to be competing with me and not just helping out, which is awesome.
Yeah. Mannington, West Virginia is a hot dog angel said.
What's that?
Mannington, West Virginia comp is a hot dog ancillary.
There you go. Where it is, I'll go. I'll go just because of that piece. So
it's a 7-hour drive for a single. It's got a hot dog ancillary. We're going.
Now, if I don't get a walk, if I don't get a top 3, you guys better be easy on me because I'm still gonna do the Raz Dogs. All right.
I was about to say, man, if you're about to say if you don't get a walk, you're not doing the Raz Dog. I'm gonna get on and pay some judges.
That's it. 2 different things, man. 2 different things. I got to make it look pretty and be one bite.
You got a pretty big shout out on here.
There we go. Terry the man. He is the man.
Absolutely. So, oh my goodness, Raz, what's your plans and goals for SCA? You want to travel the country? You want to go to Australia and hit a couple? Like, what are your goals with this?
You know what I want to do? It's like I did Callahan end of the year chasing points because I wanted to get to the World Championship, and I found out that I was like 1 point away from top 10, so I went down to Callahan just to get my 2 points. Mm-hmm. And once I got there, I said that actually I'm here to win, and got a 5th out of it. Is I really enjoyed going to Florida, and hanging out with the Haskets are great. The Pendries, it's their home turf. The Buckens are there, and just kind of like meet the families in other areas, right? Mm-hmm. And then I did Young Harris, Georgia. Mm-hmm. So I think my goal for this year, one is I'd like to get back to the World Championship. That's it. I want to represent my brand well, so I'll be a big stream trust and dust machine. And I want to hit Georgia. I want to hit Tennessee. I'm going to venture out a lot more in the other areas just to meet more of the SCA family. I mean, it was kind of cool to go to the World Championship and just meet the folks from, the groups. I mean, because like our East Coast Steak Mob, the Florida gang and the Georgia gang, they're tight. Mm-hmm. And the Tennessee gang with Jody Davis leading that pack was pretty tight. Yep. So kind of, I want to invade their spaces, bring the dogs out there, and just be part of other families. I'm gonna get adopted by different families, man.
They bring the dogs out. I just like how you said
that. Let the dogs out.
You let the dogs out, Raz. Oh, but no, that's awesome. So, would you said you got a cover on the back of your truck? Would you ever end up, if you started doing all this traveling, end up getting a little trailer? That's starting to be more and more the things pop up in the East Coast, because everyone on here, I remember specifically people in the comments saying you don't need to bring a trailer to an SCA competition, which I know people still back that up here. But you got more and more of them things popping up here on the East Coast as we start getting into parks and bigger events at play centers and stuff like that there. Would you ever pull the trigger on like a 6x12 and roll with a trailer?
So I gotta be careful with my answer because my wife may be watching this or watch the recording. So I may plead the fifth. So it started off to where I was really not knowing what to do, and Paulina gave me a hard time.
You're good.
Paulina gives me a hard time that what I was doing for that first half is I was basically loading up my pickup truck and unloading it every night in the hotel because I didn't have a cover. So finally I got my cover. I'm good. But I'm with you when I've got two people competing, like if Andrew joins me or going to Texas. Space is tight, right?
Yep.
And one of my close fellow competitors moved up on a new trail is already saying, "Hey, Raz, you need to get this trailer." So I'm not sure if it's there. I know McDonald just got his trailer, so a lot of us had said we would not do it.
Nice.
Did you see it?
Oh, I was right across from it. I sat there and looked at the all weekend.
So you got yours.
I got mine. Mine's a perfect little steak trailer. I mean, we're gonna do a lot of work to it here soon, but it's a nice little 6x12. You can't go wrong with it. And like I said before, Jim Hudgens said, you don't need a trailer, but controlling them elements, it's really daggone nice, especially with like the wind up in Lancaster 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Absolutely. I could see that part of it. It's kind of nice for the mobility.
Yep.
But you're right. When you've got rain or wind out there, you can be in that trailer, kind of just not having to worry about your dust flying all over the place and cutting and losing foil that you have to go chase down.
Yeah,
that's a good situation. So I plead the fifth. I gave you enough inside information to kind of leave it at that.
Yep.
Is that fair?
Yep. That's perfectly fair with that one.
Okay.
But I don't know, man. I'm running out of questions here. So you said you're going to be in. What's your plans this weekend?
No. This weekend is a timeline practice. So the cool thing is I had a really good practice lab this weekend, and I'm going to be doing a timeline practice, getting down and dirty, just ready for my timeline for the Morgantown / New Holland the week after that, and then West Union after that. So practice.
Yep, that's what I'm gonna be doing here too. I gotta hone in my thing. I got a 2.5 inch thermometer for the dot that I think changed my doneness score went up 2 points last weekend because of it. Because I could just see it and I could watch it rise, and it's the best thing I ever bought. Best $19 I have ever bought. Shout out to Tom and Michelle from Lancaster Barbecue.
What did you get?
A 2.5 inch probe for the dot.
Oh, I got the shorter one versus that long tall thing. Yeah, it's great.
Love it. I just discovered that 2 weeks ago, and now it's the best thing I've ever bought. The best thing I ever bought. So, are you more of a Spinalis or a Tryhard guy?
Yes.
Yep.
Is Robin on?
I think she is, but that all three of them are on here. I don't know if they're all in the same room watching it because having mother, father, son bonding time or not. But
I've been a wraparound Spinalis guy, comfort zone, and I've seen Robin just live and die by the Tryhard, and I practiced it to death. I mean, I every time I get 3 steaks, I practiced it, and even when I got a double one token for my 2 steaks, I had them there, and I just went, and I went right for that Spinalis. And where was it? In Urbana, I finally did my first Tryhard.
Oh, okay.
And I got a 5th, so it was actually kind of good.
Yeah.
And I practiced it enough because they're tricky.
Yep, they are.
So a lot of coaching from Robin, a lot of mentorship, seeing her win 1,000 awards, and she lives by it. Mm-hmm. I know the Jersey boys live by it, and Manzi's now getting into the Tryhards.
Yep.
So I'm good with it. So now it really comes down to if I get in line, and again with the Tryhard, where I'm at is I want that nice little dime or nickel Tryhard. If it's a big old $50, I'm a little bit more scared.
Yep.
If I see that nickel or dime Tryhard, I'm jumping on it, especially if the texture's really if the texture's good on there, and I got that marbling, I'm good.
So what do you look for in texture? You look for the fat in the spinalis and all that area up there for your texture? Yeah, I'm gonna try to shig off you a little bit because that's my biggest flaw right now is texture.
Well, okay, so I'm still learn from somebody that's also struggling. So I'll give you some bad advice, but what I've learned a lot, and I'll tell you the Garretts and the Jersey boys will give me a lot of advice on it. So it's really I look for the marbling a lot into the spinalis or into the Tryhard. It's all about the marbling, and not looking for the gristle, and not looking for that marbling solid line that's going to go all the way through, right? So that's the piece. So I've really learned that steak selection is going to make you or break you. I mean, sometimes no matter what you do with texture, your steaks can do it for you. So it's great when you get a good token. But then I've seen Mansfield and the doc get almost second to last or last place and still get a gold ticket just because they're so skilled at it. But at my level, I need all the help. Yeah,
I've seen Doctor pick some wild looking steaks and end up just walking with it. And I'm like, that's your first steak, dude? Like, I would pick up was the last steak on the table. And he's up there and he goes walking. I'm like, holy snot, man, that's insane.
Yeah. So it's all about the marbling. It's all about, I want a good size spinalis.
Yep.
And so steak selection is everything.
Absolutely.
And it took me a while to be honest with you, my first 2 or 3 events, I was scared of doing the practice steak, and I was one of the guys that would hold on to that practice steak being a potential turn-in steak if I really kind of messed up my turn-in, right?
Yep.
And I'm not quite up to the Rodney level of never doing a practice steak. I don't know how Rodney does it.
I don't either. Right? What's that?
So you've seen what he does, right? He's always an Iron Man.
Yep. Yeah, he always is, and I don't know how he does it. I'll admit, my second place, I got tired of cooking steak, and it was windy, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to throw the steak on. I think it was a Tryhard, too. Do it on the grill, second place. I'm like, holy mackerel. Like, I'll never cook a practice steak again because you get overthinking it. Like, this weekend, I cooked my second practice steak. I'm like, man, that thing's money. My second steak was like 16th. I'm like, oh.
So I'm still trying to learn from the whole carryover. To me, the practice is still about learning how the steak's gonna do, because it could be the steak, it could be the weather, and I gotta try to learn what my carryover is gonna do, right?
Yeah.
To where Rodney's confident enough to where he just basically smokes a cigarette, has his red cup, and walks around and watches us and talks to us, and we're basically freaking out with our practice steak and sharing bites, and then he kind of loads up, and he's the first steak he turns in at 2:01. If it's 2:00 turn, he's right there.
Oh yeah. I've been either right behind him or right in front of him with this new timeline I'm doing here. So he's on it.
Goes back and lights up another one. Yep. So
I gotta ask this. There's a whole bunch of comments here, and a whole story going on in the comments right now. Tell me about following Ed Gent with a trailer down to Texas. Andrew's commenting on it. Ed's commenting on it. Apparently, you couldn't follow him down to Texas pulling a trailer, and he was weaving in and out of traffic.
Well, Ed is a madman driver, and I don't know if you guys heard my ring. Somebody keeps on trying to call me. So, we were driving back to where were we going back from Texas, and just kind of did a mini convoy. Paulini kind of headed up to Oklahoma, and I'm following Ed, and I can't remember where the heck we were. And I mean, seriously, he's going 85, 90 miles an hour in his trailer and through traffic. And at one point, he's in the fast lane. I guess this is a story he's talking about. And something was in that lane, and he dodged it and it just flew right into my truck, and didn't know what the heck it was. Didn't know if it was roadkill or a piece of a truck or something. But yeah, it was a close event. From that point on, I kind of distanced myself from Ed and decided never to try to follow him again. But I'll tell you the cool event for the World Championship. I'll give Ed some major kudos, and Tim probably, and you probably saw it on my Facebook, probably the one of the coolest things about the World Championship was the before and the after. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of a good story is that my brother had passed away about 8 years ago, and he was a huge Elvis fan. He was a fanatic, and his wishes were to be spread over Graceland someday.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of, finally after 8 years, I decided after having his ashes, it's time to go spread the bro on Elvis country. So when we're talking about where to go, Memphis was about the 12-hour mark where we were all going to stop. So Ed and Tim were riding together. Paulini is driving from Ohio. So we all decided to kind of meet up, and I had my crew of 3. I told them I would take them to the World Championships. I brought all 3. So we all met up in Memphis.
Mm-hmm.
Had a great night. Went out for some barbecue, and the next day, early in the morning, we went to Graceland, and Ed's going, brother, I said, do what you need to do. If I got to bring a cop down, I will do it. I will tackle a guard, whatever you got to do, just lay those ashes. So we had Tim and Ed and Paulina kind of watch guard of actually the vehicles. And then my team went out there to Graceland, and I kind of spread the ashes finally on Graceland. So kind of a cool thing, kind of a good closure to walk into the World Championship, kind of level set a little bit,
Absolutely, man.
So
Absolutely.
good stuff.
That's really good stuff. So Dave is saying to tell them the story of the buffet table at the Cottage Inn.
What story was that?
The story of the buffet table on the Cottage Inn in Memphis.
Oh, for our breakfast. Is that what he's talking about?
I guess.
So we decided to have a breakfast place, and my great spot, I usually pick out good restaurants, and one of my things I like to do is Paulina and I will go out to breakfast the morning of and find like the coolest diner out there, old school diner, and load up on biscuits and sausage and gravy or pancakes for the day, so till the dogs come up. And I had a spot picked up for breakfast, and we all convoyed over there and was closed. So Ed found a spot, and we drove to this place, and it was actually a great breakfast spot, really, really kind of old school diner. And we're looking at the menu, and on one side it's an American diner type of normal chicken fried steak, bacon and eggs. You turned it over, and now it's going to Thai, pad Thai, and it was a Thai restaurant. And we go, what the heck is this, man? And it doesn't look, there's nothing in that even looks like it's Thai at all. Mm-hmm. And that's what they do at lunchtime. They kind of flip it over, and this American diner becomes a Thai restaurant. Wow. It was the most weird thing, and it was a righteous breakfast. So Ed definitely got a kick of eating a diner Thai restaurant breakfast.
That's hilarious. That's awesome. So, well, Raz, we'll get this thing wrapped up here, man. I appreciate you coming on here, and I'm sorry Dave couldn't be with us here this week, but we'll definitely have you back on here. And man, I genuinely love you, man, and seeing you out there on the circuit and having the hot dogs, and you're one of the best people out there. It's for sure.
Well, I love you guys. Love my SCA family. That's what it's all about. It's about the people, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Are you on social media anywhere they can follow you or anything like that?
Just not yet. I got to get my act together and get my whole Twitter and TikTok and whatever else is out there. I'm just a Facebook kind of guy right now. So that'll be my next thing, is to move up to the technology and catch up to something that's already about 10 years old.
Yeah. That's I'm kind of falling back, man. I've slacked on my Instagram, and I picked up on my Facebook. So
that's it. It's all Facebook, but it's all good stuff.
It is, man. So, all right. Well, we're gonna wrap up the show here. We appreciate you coming on here, and you want to give another shout out here to your sponsors?
All right. So, Big Extreme, good stuff, and then Grill Greats and Gunther Williams and Wicked Pig. Matt, you got your stuff going on, and I think I got them most. I got to rehearse, but the main thing is Big Extreme, Trust in the Dress, baby. So we'll be winning this year with it. Appreciate that sponsorship shout out.
Absolutely. All right, y'all. Have a great evening. We'll be back next week, and we'll see you out there on the circuit.
All right. See you guys.